Catherine, Princess of Wales, didn't arrive with a manifesto. She didn't need a brand. She didn't seek the spotlight. While Chapter 2 examined Meghan's strategy, built on visibility, emotion, and disruption, this chapter belongs to the woman who made none of those things necessary. Catherine didn't reposition the crown, she reinforced it. She didn't need to challenge the institution. She chose to understand it. While others sought transformation through visibility, Catherine committed to longevity through function. Her presence wasn't meant to disrupt. It was designed to endure. And in doing so, she's not just supporting the crown, she's making history inside it. Catherine doesn't chase visibility. She builds what the institution needs before it asks for it. Her initiatives are structured with longevity in mind, projects that will continue under her name, even if she's not the one presenting them. She's not attached to credit. She's invested in durability. Where Catherine built quietly, Meghan launched publicly. She arrived with momentum, message, and media. Her presence was framed as a challenge to tradition, a voice of change. But change without structure demands attention to survive. Catherine wasn't competing with that. She was outlasting it. Meghan's model relied on visibility, public storytelling, personal narrative. Her work was framed through emotion and framed around herself. But Catherine never needed to be the message. Her value wasn't symbolic, it was operational. She didn't respond to the moment. She built through it. She chose early childhood development because it was foundational, not fashionable. She didn't attach her name to a trending cause. She invested in one that would shape policy, impact families, and build public trust. Where others launched media, Catherine launched infrastructure, quiet, measured, permanent. Catherine didn't obey the system, she mastered it. She didn't carry tradition because she was expected to, she used it as leverage. The crown didn't protect her out of loyalty. It depended on her because she held the line when no one else could. Catherine's silence was never passive. It was calibrated. While others explained, defended, or rebranded, she remained still, on purpose. She understood that in an institution built on image, the most powerful position isn't always the loudest. It's the one that doesn't flinch. Her power isn't in visibility, it's in consistency. Catherine's influence isn't measured by headlines, it's measured by what keeps functioning long after the moment passes. She doesn't speak because her work doesn't require defense. It holds quietly while everything else shifts around it. Catherine isn't protecting tradition for tradition's sake. She's protecting the crown for the two men who will inherit it. One is her husband, the other is her son. Her work isn't about legacy, it's about safeguarding the future, for the family at the center and the institution that surrounds them. While Catherine was building continuity, others were creating disruption. Meghan entered the institution not to understand it, but to challenge it. She framed herself as modern, misunderstood, and mistreated, and positioned the monarchy as an outdated machine that couldn't evolve. Her campaign relied on visibility, not structure. Headlines, interviews, specials, every message demanded a reaction, and every reaction reset the narrative around her. But the crown didn't respond emotionally. It responded with one of the sharpest, coldest statements ever issued from the palace. Recollections may vary. A line that, according to several insiders, was shaped by Catherine herself. Brief, controlled, and devastating. It didn't defend. It didn't explain. It simply ended the conversation. That was her strategy. While others spoke at length, she used 11 syllables to end a media war. Meghan needed the institution to justify itself. Catherine didn't. Her record stood on its own, and the institution stood with her. The crown never released a statement choosing sides. It doesn't operate that way. But power inside the monarchy is rarely declared. It's demonstrated. And the way the institution moved made its decision clear. Meghan asked for acknowledgement, demanded transparency, and wanted her version of the story to be heard. She spoke. She revealed. She called the system into question. And when the institution responded, it did so without raising its voice. Catherine didn't say a word. But the crown answered through her. Not with press statements or public gestures, but with presence, with positioning, with trust. While headlines chased disruption, the palace closed ranks around the one figure who never needed to be protected. The one who made no mistakes, required no damage control, and asked for nothing. Catherine wasn't just present. She became immovable. The institution doesn't reward sentiment. It rewards function. Meghan pushed from the outside. Catherine strengthened the inside. Meghan was the story. Catherine was the structure. And when the pressure rose, the Crown made its decision. One woman could make noise. The other could hold the monarchy together. Over time, that trust turned into visibility, not in interviews or headlines, but in responsibility. Quiet assignments became central roles. Background became leadership. Not because Catherine asked for it, but because no one else could carry it. Not with that discipline, not with that consistency, not with that calm. The monarchy never explained the choice. It didn't have to. It showed who it was building around. And Catherine never interrupted that process. She just kept showing up. While others managed narrative, she managed continuity. While others stepped back, she stepped forward. Not loudly, but with full institutional weight behind her. What Catherine carried, she carried without applause. What she delivered, she did without spectacle. And as the monarchy moved forward, the system made its quiet statement. This is who we protect, because this is who protects us. Catherine doesn't need to declare herself the future queen. She doesn't need a campaign, a brand, or a platform. She already moves like a sovereign, one whose authority doesn't depend on ceremony, but on discipline. In every appearance, every initiative, and every silence, she is rehearsing nothing. She's executing. Her strength isn't loud. It's deliberate. It shows up in the choices she makes, what she takes on, what she ignores, and what she never has to correct. She has nothing to walk back, because Catherine is not responding to the institution. She's aligning it, quietly, consistently, without interruption. And the monarchy has noticed, not with headlines or declarations, but with responsibility. Over the years, her assignments have deepened, her presence has widened, and her influence has grown without ever needing to be marketed. She didn't expand her role through press. She expanded it through proof. This isn't future potential. This is present function. Catherine isn't preparing to become queen. She's already acting like one. She's governing from within the framework, not waiting for it to invite her in. Her power isn't anticipatory. It's active. It's recognized by the system around her, not because she forces it, but because she has earned it through structure, behavior, and institutional trust. Every time she shows up, she's not performing tradition. She's protecting its relevance. And every time she chooses not to speak, not to comment, not to insert herself into temporary noise, she strengthens the Crown's ability to project stability. That's not deference, that's strategy. In a family watched constantly, Catherine is one of the few who never needed to correct the record, because the record already reflects her. This isn't about approval, it's about alignment. She has become the Crown's most stable asset, not by being passive, but by operating at a level of control most people never notice until the history books are already written. Meghan tried to reposition the monarchy around herself. She used media, message, and narrative to demand transformation. Her power was volume, speaking first often and in public. But power that depends on being seen is always temporary. Catherine took a different path. She didn't ask to lead. She acted like someone who already was. While Meghan managed the story, Catherine managed the institution. She didn't disrupt it, she stabilized it. This wasn't a rivalry, it was a referendum. 2 strategies, 1 system. The Crown didn't pick sides, it picked survival. It moved around the one who delivered structure, not headlines. Catherine never raised her voice, but she never broke formation. And the institution responded without ever saying a word. It gave her more, because she required less. She didn't stand behind the Crown, she stood beneath it. And while others built brands, Catherine built permanence. She was never carrying it alone. The man beside her stood silent, not because he was distant, but because he was bound to her by something deeper than duty. William wasn't just watching, he was guarding. He let her hold the crown because he trusted no one else to do it right, and he stood behind her as both protector and partner. His silence wasn't absence, it was allegiance. To her, to the institution, to the future they're building together. And in Chapter 4, he steps forward, not to defend the crown, but to defend the woman who carried it when no one else could.